All stories are true. Some stories actually happened. If you look at and listen to a story, you might find yourself in the story. Sometimes the story becomes your own story.
Once again, Fr.Tony Russo, priest of the Sacred Heart. Again, tonight I'm going to tell you a few stories. And this time they're stories about children. There's a story about an Indian village in India. There were 6 children blind, totally couldn't see anything. 3 boys and 3 girls. And every time they went out walking, they held hands so they wouldn't get lost. Well, this time they decided to go into the forest a little bit. And before they got very far, they ran into something. So the first child, a boy, started feeling around and he said, "I think we ran into a wall." And then the second child, a little girl, said, "Oh, no." As she grabbed the feet of this animal, she said, "No, it's a tree." Then the next child, who was a boy, number 3, said, No, as he grabbed the tail. It's a rope. And then the 4th child, who was a girl, said, No, there's something sharp and long. It's got to be a spear. And then the next child, who's a boy, said, "No," as he grabbed the trunk. "We got to get out of here. There's a big snake here." And then finally, before the other one even finished, the 6th child, who was a little girl, says, "No, it's got to be a hose. I'm getting squirted all over the place." Well, there was a lady watching all this going on, and the kids were arguing, and she came up to them and says, "Can I help you out?" And they said, "Oh, yes." "Okay, just listen to each other. Somebody ran into a wall. Somebody had trees. Then somebody had a rope. And then somebody had a spear. Then somebody had a snake. And then somebody said it was a hose, squirting water. So what do you think you were with? What do you think you found?" And then all the kids cried out together, "Oh, an elephant!" Now, I want to tell you 2 other ones. They're shorter, and I kind of refer to them as bits of wisdom. And this story is about a young father and his son. They're at the grocery store, and his little boy is in the shopping cart. And he's screaming and hollering, and he's throwing cans out on the floor, and even the vegetables. And his father is calmly saying, "Billy, take it easy. Billy, don't get upset. Billy, be calm. Billy, we'll be going home soon. Billy, please, Billy, stop crying." And a lady was there. And she said to him, "Boy, I'm really impressed with you as a young father. Being so calm and, asking in a very gentle way your son to do something different." And the fellow looks at her and says, "I'm Billy. My son's name is Dennis, and he can be a menace, but I always love him." Finally, we have a little girl who's sitting on her grandmother's lap. And grandmother is reading from the Bible, the Genesis story. And after a little while, she notices that her granddaughter is very quiet. And she says to her, "Well, what do you think of all this?" She says, "Oh, this is so wonderful. I'm so surprised at all the things God can make and makes." Those are 3 little stories that involve children. And we're in the Lenten season. And it's a time for us to realize again how much God loves us, how much God has compassion on us, And you know, the church asked us to do some things to help us really get into the Lenten season. Can we find a little bit more time to pray? To kind of sit down, have a conversation with God, talk to Him and listen to what He has to say to you? And you know, can we let go of things that are keeping us from being the person God's made us to be? That's what I think fasting is, letting go of things. And then, you know, I can easily just worry about me. Well, Lent's a time for me to worry about others. And it's a time for me, when I see someone who doesn't have something and I have something, why not share it with them? So again, I hope you all have a wonderful Lenten season, and we'll see you before Easter.
The Priests of the Sacred Heart.